Hey guys, Wet Movie 1 back here again for another Blu-ray DVD update video for you guys today. It's been about 2 weeks or so since my last one. Got a nice little size stack of stuff here to talk to you guys about today. But before I get into the first one, everyone, please hit that like button if you guys enjoy my videos or support them in any way. Also, drop a comment down below letting me know what kind of cool new DVDs and Blu-rays you guys picked up. And also, let me know what kind of movies I talk about in this video that you're interested in checking out after I talk about them down in the comments here. But let's get started with it. The first one up over here is from Scream Factory. The first two actually are two films that came out in the early 2000s that I kind of liked, you know, when they came out, but I didn't think they were amazing films. But like revisiting them now on Blu-ray, I found a little bit more love for them. And the first one up here is a collector's edition of Jeepers Creepers here on Blu-ray. Of course, this is the new Scream Factory 2-disc edition here, which comes with the original artwork, you know, inside the cover art here. But if you guys don't know, this film right here stars, you know, Justin Long, who you guys all know from like Zack and Mary Make a Porno and, you know, a handful of other things. I'm just a really big fan of him. I met him once at a convention years ago at like a Fangoria Weekend of Horror one or something. But like this one right here, this movie right here is pretty much about this brother and sister that are, you know, taking this trip to go visit their parents or something, and they go on this, you know, different route, you know, through the countryside, you know, to get home, because they think it might be like a faster way to get home. But when they do so, they start getting chased down by this one car, and as they're, you know, they're like, what the hell's going on? And the car ends up just driving past them, and they're driving by this old farmhouse, and they see that same truck that, you know, was, you know, giving them all this trouble on the highway. And this one guy is like taking out like something out of his car and throwing it down a drain pipe, and it looks like he's throwing a dead body down the drain pipe. And they're like, okay, what's going on here? We have to figure out what's going on. And you know, as they're at a gas station a few miles down the road, you know, they're like, okay, we need to figure this out. We need to know if we're going to call the cops and, you know, do something about this. So then they end up, you know, going back to that house because they see that the guy's car drive away, like he's not in town anymore. And so then they decide to go down to where that drain pipe is next to this weird farmhouse to figure out, was that really a dead body, and all the craziness that ensues from there. This movie was actually a lot funner, a lot cooler than, you know, I remember it being when I, you know, first watched it back in the early 2000s. You know what I mean? Like, it has some really good gore, some really decent acting in here, and this new edition here comes with a handful of new special features. It comes with like a new behind the scenes you know, look back at the film with Victor Salva, the director, and some of the producers and things. You get interviews with some of the actors from the film, deleted scenes, theatrical trailers, and it looks absolutely beautiful here on Blu-ray. And next up over here is Jeepers Creepers 2 Collector's Edition here, and this one also is a 2-disc special edition or Collector's Edition here. And this one right here takes place, I believe, a couple days after the first one, because they talk about the events of the first one in this one, like on a radio station that these kids are listening to. In this one, it's about this football team that's, you know, coming home from a big win that they had, like this high school football game. This whole big high school football team's on this bus traveling back home, and their bus gets, you know, stuck in the middle of nowhere, and the creeper's after them, and it's them just trying to survive. You know, the creeper coming to get them again. Because if you guys don't know, the creeper is a character that only comes about every 23 years on every 23rd like spring or something, because every 23rd spring he needs to eat, and what he needs to eat is us. You know what I mean? Like that's what the creeper does. He's just every 23 years he comes and wants to eat us, and you have to watch the movies to find out why he wants to eat us and what he does when he eats us. And it's just a really, really fun film. And on this Blu-ray you get interviews with some of the cast and crew from the film, also some commentary tracks by some of the cast members and Victor Salva himself. So if you're a fan of these films, definitely upgrade these Blu-rays here. You got a whole lot of special features on these things, and they look absolutely beautiful here on Blu-ray. And next up over here from Sony is a film I knew nothing about until I got this one here. And I'm just a really big fan of Sally Field, and this is her new film called Hello, My Name is Doris. And this movie just blew me away. It's about this you know, older lady, probably like in her 50s or 60s or what have you, and she's a hoarder. She lives in New York, and her mother just passed away at the beginning of this film, and she's just really distraught about it. Her family, her brother and sister, want her, to clean up the house, clean up all her hoardings that she has all throughout her house and things. And she also Doris works at an office as accounts payable person, and her life is just being kind of turned all around right now. She's just trying to figure out what she's going to do now, and yet somebody at her work, she gets a new worker, come in at her work that she gets infatuated with. She's just in love with this guy, but he's 20 or 30 years younger than her, but yet she just really wants to be with him. You know what I mean? And it's just pretty much her pursuit of trying to get this young guy at work. Right over here, I forgot what his name was. Sallyfield and Max Greenfield, I believe his name was, right here. And it was just a really lovely, charming movie. Sally Field just gives a really beautiful performance in this film. I just really fell in love with the character of Doris in here. She ends up talking to her 13-year-old girl about how to get on Facebook so she can look up this guy to try to know more about him. It was just a really cute, charming film. And on this Blu-ray here, you get deleted scenes, alternate opening, and a filmmaker commentary. It's just a really surprising film with great performances in here. Sally Field, man, we just knocked it out of the park in this one. And next up over here from Disney is Zootopia here on Blu-ray and DVD, ultraviolet digital copy combo pack here. And this is also another film I didn't get to see in the theater, and I was happy to get here to review for you guys. I just really love animated films, and this one right here really did surprise me. It's about this young rabbit named Judy Hopps, and she lives with her parents and stuff. She has these aspirations, to make the world a better place for everybody. But yet, in her culture, her family, they're grown, they're raised to be carrot farmers or whatever it is. And she's like, I don't want to be like my family, my parents, and my ancestors, and just be a carrot farmer. I want to do something that can make the world, just make the world better. She wants to be a cop. She wants to be the first, bunny, little bunny cop. So she ends up going to Zootopia, a place where all different animals, all live together in harmony and things. And she goes there to tries out to be a cop, and gets to be on the police force as a cop, and starts to solve mysteries and things. It's actually really kind of a fun movie. Really, really dug the characters in here. It's really kind of cool to see animals, dressed up in clothes and running around doing things. I just really like the imagination put behind this film, and it looks absolutely beautiful and stunning here on Blu-ray. And of course, you get some special features on here with some of the creators of the film, talking about how they talked to John Lasseter about their ideas, and how John Lasseter said, yeah, just go with it, man, just go with it and have a good time. It's just Disney always puts a lot of good special features on here if you guys want to know more about your films, you know what I mean? But that's a Zootopia here on Blu-ray. Definitely check it out. Alright everyone, and next up over here from Lionsgate is The Witch here on Blu-ray. This is a film I was kind of excited to talk about and watch, because a lot of reviewers were talking about it, saying it's a really fun, scary flick, and I haven't been really scared in a movie in a long time, so I really wanted to check this one out here. It's about this family that lives in this the 1600s in the middle of this forest, in the kind of the middle of nowhere kind of area, and there's this myth. There's a witch in the woods around them, but they're not exactly sure. But they're always kind of freaked out, by it, that there really could be a witch there. And one day, the youngest kid of this family gets snatched and taken away, by the supposed witch in this forest. And it's about this family's slow decay, and what happens, and how they kind of, start going against one another, in this little cabin that they live in the middle of these woods, and they're looking at each other. Was it you that did it? Was it you that did it? They're sort of going nuts because one of their family members is gotten taken, and they're not exactly sure what the hell's going on. This movie really did have some creepy elements and really great scenery in here, but it's a really slow movie. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones you really have to be in the mood for. You know what I mean? It did have some really scary elements to it, but it took forever to get to those kind of moments, in my opinion here. If you know what I mean? It had really great scenery, really great shots, but I think maybe one of the things that really took me out of the movie is the dialogue. You know what I mean? The way they talk with, Father, without thou, where art thou the baby? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. It was just maybe, because when I hear dialogue like that, I just really get kind of, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Kind of thing. But it had great performances in here, and it was a really, fun movie to watch, but it just had really some slow boring moments in it. You know, if you know what I'm saying here. But this Blu-ray here has some audio commentary tracks by the director. You get a panel Q&A. So if you're a fan of horror films, slow burn horror films, check out The Witch here on Blu-ray. And next up over here from Warner Brothers is something I'm very, very excited to talk about here, because I've been a big fan of this series for a long, long time, since my dad turned me on to it years and years ago. And this is the 40th anniversary edition of Roots here on Blu-ray. This one comes with like a nice little booklet inside, and 3 Blu-ray discs in here. And this is a mini series that came out back in 1976 or 1977. That was based on a book by Alex Haley that chronicled his life, and his family's life, and his family tree. Like, Alex Haley was a guy that went back in the 60s and 70s to find out where his family came from and how his family came to be. And he made a book called Roots, and it became wildly popular. And then, of course, in the 70s, they made a couple years later, they made the miniseries that came on television back in the day that had over 150 million people watching. Like, it was a big sensation back in the day when this aired. I wasn't alive then, and they closed down different stores and different things. People had signs on their little storefront window saying, "Sorry, we're closed. We're watching Roots now. Sorry," kind of thing. It was like one of those shows that really impacted people and brought people together, back in the 70s. And it's about this family, about this young kid named Kunta Kinte, played by LeVar Burton, who lived in Africa, who got, taken away from his family and sold into slavery. And it just follows his life and his kids' lives as, they go on living in slavery, and how they, progress in life and things. And they even had a series they came on after this called Roots: The Next Generation, which that continued the story of the family's struggles and things. It was just a really a great series here. But like, this right here looks amazing here on Blu-ray. You also get 2 new special features on here that weren't on previous editions of the miniseries here. One is with the cast and crew looking back at the film now, and there was another a weird making of Whoopi Goldberg and some other celebrities talking about what they thought about the series when it aired back in the day. Really, really entertaining stuff. And of course, all the other special features that you got on all the other previous editions are on this Blu-ray here. But if you're a fan of this franchise, I definitely recommend this new 40th anniversary edition here on Blu-ray. And next up over here from the Warner Archive collection is a film I've never seen before, and I just watched it last night. And it stars Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, and it's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf here on Blu-ray. And the only way you can get it is from the Warner Archive collection or on Amazon.com right now. And this is a film about an aging couple who are just kind of going through what couples go through when they're together for so long, and they're just just going through fights and bickering and stuff all the time. And in this film, it's about this aging couple played by Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. They're just kind of on the outs right now, and they just came back from a party, and a younger couple is about to come over to their house to have a few drinks with them, and it's just about a younger couple and an older couple, and this what happens to them that night, with this the slow decay of this older couple in front of them, and this what happens. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's really well acted, and I believe Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor were really married back in the day, and it's just really nice to know, really cool to know that. And I don't know, man, this movie just really had some super great performances in here. It's really hard to explain, you know what I mean? But on this Blu-ray here, you get an audio commentary track by the director and Steven Soderbergh, and a making of a documentary on here. So if you're a fan of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, definitely check out the Blu-ray here from the Warner Archive collection. And next up over here from Paramount is Zoolander #2 here on Blu-ray. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a super big fan of the original Zoolander. I had some funny moments in it. I know it became a real big cult thing, but I wasn't really part of that crowd. But I was interested in checking this one out because I'm a big fan of Ben Stiller, and I really do like Owen Wilson, because you also get Will Ferrell in here and Kristen Wiig. And this one right here takes place years after the first one. And Zoolander wants to get back into the get back into the fashion game, but he did, he doesn't really know how, because him and Will Ferrell and stuff have been hiding, he's been in hiding for all this time, and now at the beginning of this film, he just lost his son, and he's trying to get his son back from, social services and things, but yet at the same time trying to get his modeling career back on back on track again. This movie did have some funny parts in it. It's really kind of all over the place and kind of sloppy, kind of one of those films that just kind of throws, cameos at you all throughout the film. But I kind of enjoyed it for what it was, because in the mood I was in, the night I watched it, I was just kind of like got back from work, and I was just kind of like, you know how you have one of those days at work, you just want those days to be over. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm over this. I want to be home already. So I came home to a comedy, and after I watched it, I got into that better mood. You know what I mean? It's just kind of one of those stupid comedies that I kind of enjoyed. It's not going to be one of those ones that you remember years and years later, but it was actually a decent watch here on Blu-ray. That's Zoolander number 2. And next up over here is something that I really knew nothing about going into this, and I didn't really, after watching it, didn't really care for it that much, and it's called the Shannara Chronicles, season 1 here on DVD. This one right here is a MTV show produced, or executive produced by Jon Favreau, who brought us Iron Man and things. And this one right here comes with three discs over here, 10 episodes for season 1, and it's pretty much about like these elves who are trying to save the earth from like these ogres and demons and things like that. It's like one of those fantasy kind of shows. It has a really great look to it, but like I watched like the first like 2 episodes. Like the first episode is like a 2-parter, and then I watched the 3rd episode too, and I just really couldn't get into it. You know what I mean? Like I just really wasn't my bag, if I may say so. But if you're a fan of like fantasy shows, and maybe like Xena Warrior Princess and like Hercules or whatever, you guys might like this. But like I just really couldn't get into it, to be honest. But next up over here from HBO is a show called Vinyl, the complete first season here on DVD. This is a show that's executive produced by Mick Jagger and Martin Scorsese, as it says here on the front. And it's a show that follows this record executive guy, in the 1970s, when there's like the whole big drug cultures going on, and there's like disco and rock and roll going on all at the same time, and it's about this record executive that's at the beginning of this film is about to sign like a really big music group, but yet at the beginning of the show something happens, and the whole signing thing doesn't happen, and he doesn't get this big group. And his people that back his music label are about to come to visit him and things, and he thinks he's about to lose his whole record business, and it's him just trying to figure out what he's going to do to keep his business going. I found this show to be really kind of cool. It has really great acting in here, really great music throughout the whole series here, and like all 70s style music. It's just a really fun, entertaining show. It kind of reminded me of Almost Famous a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it has that kind of vibe to it, and Almost Famous is one of my all-time favorite movies ever. So if you guys like that movie, you guys will definitely like this show here. But there's way more drug use in this show than there was in Almost Famous. But it's just a really, really fun show. On this DVD here, you get a making of the show, commentary tracks. If you guys love the music of the 70s, definitely check out Vinyl, the complete first season here. And next up over here from Universal is a movie by the Coen brothers, and that is Hail Caesar. This film stars Josh Brolin, George Clooney, Ray Fiennes, Jonah Hill, a slew of people. I can go on and on about who stars in this film, but it's pretty much the quick synopsis is about a superstar actor back in the 1950s, played by George Clooney, who gets kidnapped and held for ransom and things, and it's about what the studio is going to do to try to get him back. And that's just pretty much the small synopsis on this film. There's a lot more going on in it, but it's also one of probably the most weirdest, craziest movies that I've seen that the Coen brothers did. One of those ones I really couldn't get into. You know what I mean? Like I love all the actors in it. I love the directors of the film, but like I just really couldn't get into it. I love movies that are based on making of movies that are about making movies. I love that kind of stuff. But like this one just really didn't hit the mark for me. You know what I mean? Like the acting is fine, the directing is fine. It's just one of those films you watch and it's going, it's kind of sloppy. It's kind of all over the place. I don't think they really knew where they were going, with this film. If you know what I mean. I hate to say that because I love The Big Lebowski. You know what I mean. I love Raising Arizona. I love the Coen Brothers films, but this is probably my least favorite one I've seen so far from them. You know what I mean. Like, I was just really kind of disappointed in it. But on this Blu-ray here, you get, of course, director Hollywood, the making of the film. You get some making of the film with the actors and things, and it was just, to me, you know what I mean? Like, I was really underwhelmed by it. And then next up over here is another film I was kind of underwhelmed by. Stars Sam Rockwell and Anna Kendrick, and that is Mr. Right, here on Blu-ray. It's about this hitman played by Sam Rockwell, who's a guy that, he's a hitman. He gets hired to kill people, but yet he kills the people that hire him to kill people. And it's just a really weird mess because he doesn't like killing people. But he kills the people that hire him to kill people. But yet he comes across this beautiful girl played by Anna Kendrick, who's as crazy as he is. But she's just a girl that wants to fall in love. She's just kind of crazy all over the place, but she wants to find love. And one day she comes across Sam Rockwell's character. They meet each other in this diner somewhere and have something to eat. But yet at the same time he kills somebody, in the meantime, and it's just pretty much her trying to figure out, does she want to be with this crazy guy killing people, for the rest of her life? But she stays with him. It's just really kind of a weird, wacky kind of comedy. It has the RZA in here from the Wu-Tang Clan. It really has some okay moments in it, but it's just one of those movies that, I don't know, I can sort of see why a lot of people are not really talking about. To be honest, you know what I mean? Anna Kendrick is absolutely beautiful and electric in this film, but it's just kind of, you know what I mean? You watch it and then you kind of forget about it, you know what I mean? Alright everyone, and next up over here from Olive Films is the film starring Val Kilmer and Mira Sorvino. Came out back in the late 90s, and that is At First Sight here on Blu-ray. It's about Mira Sorvino's character. She's an architect in New York, and she wants to get away for a quick little vacation, and she ends up going on this little vacation, just to loosen up from her job, because she needs to get away for a while. And she goes to this, little resort in the middle of nowhere, and she ends up getting this massage by this masseuse played by Val Kilmer's character. He's a blind man, but yet she becomes infatuated with him, and they kind of connect really well together. But yet he's been blind since he was a little kid, and it's pretty much her trying to convince him to come to New York to see this specialist to try to get his sight back and everything. Because she absolutely falls in love with him and wants him to witness life and stuff. And it's pretty much what happens when he goes to the doctor to get the eye surgery, and how it all unfolds and things. It's actually a really decent love story film, that really nice romantic film that I always remember really liking. And if you guys like romantic films, definitely check out At First Sight here on Blu-ray. And last up over here, but definitely not least, from MVD Entertainment, is Elstree 1976 here on DVD. And it's a documentary about Star Wars, but not the making of Star Wars with Mark Hamill and all Harrison Ford talking about the film, but it's about a documentary about the people that were stormtroopers, people that were dressed in costumes, people that had masks on, people that played X-Wing pilots, people that only had a couple lines in the movie. And it's a documentary about those guys and how the film impacted their lives, and and what they've been doing since. And it's actually a really fun documentary, really insightful stuff, because the people, the extras and people that had a couple lines in the film, when they were doing the film, they were talking about how they didn't really think this film was going to go anywhere. They thought it was just going to be a weird, B-70, 60s, 70s kind of, monster sci-fi kind of movie that was just going to come and go. And they just sort of did it, for a paycheck. They didn't really think it was going to go anywhere. And then they talk about how after it came out and how people recognized them and wanted their autographs, and they even go into going to conventions and signing autographs for things. You even get the guy that plays Darth Vader in this documentary here, not James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader, just the guy that was in the costume of Darth Vader, and how you see his face, in the one film and stuff. You get that guy in here talking about his experience, making the film, and how when he was making the movie, he was giving out all the dialogue on set. But, like, he didn't know that he was going to be, you know, redubbed over by James Earl Jones. He thought it was going to be him, his voice in the film and everything. It was just really an insightful documentary. I think you guys will all like it if you guys love Star Wars. And I highly recommend this one. But, guys, that's all I have to talk to you guys about today for this Blu-ray DVD update. Please give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys all next time.